Modern men don't lack potential. What they lack is discipline, grit, and a reason to take life seriously. They let their emotions take the wheel, let circumstances wear them down, let society soothe them into comfort, and then they ask, why haven't I gone further? The answer is simple, because you live as if you're immortal. If you're tired of living halfway, if you're fed up with feeling numb because you don't know who you are, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you 7 Stoic principles, not to make you feel good, but to teach you how to live right. Each one is a wake-up slap, and if you have the guts to make it to the end, you won't be the same man who started this. If this is your first time visiting the channel, hit subscribe and like so you don't miss out on exciting upcoming content. Wants to control the world. They want their boss to change, their partner to change, society to change, the government to change. But almost no one dares to look straight at the only thing they can control, themselves. Weak men start their day with a complaint. Rain, they complain. Traffic, they complain. Too much work, more complaining. They live like the universe owes them an easy ride, and when it doesn't happen, they fall apart. The Stoic man is the opposite. He knows he can't control people. He can't control the weather, the markets, or betrayal. But he knows one thing. He always has the power to choose how he responds. That is the ultimate freedom, and no one can take it from you. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled almost the entire known world, still wrote in his journal every night to remind himself. Even as emperor, he couldn't bend the world to his will. All he could shape was himself. And that was enough. A man who can't control his emotions becomes a slave to them. He angers easily. He gets hurt easily. He's easily manipulated. Any woman can sense that kind of weakness, and so can the world. They'll squeeze him dry and toss him aside. Stoicism doesn't teach you to be emotionless. It teaches you to take ownership. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? The Stoic asks, how am I going to respond to this? Not every man is ready to live that way. But if you're still reading this, I believe you're already sick of the old life. The one where you wait for everything else to change, instead of forcing yourself to evolve. And if you want a stronger, more meaningful life, it starts here. Control yourself first. Then think about changing your surroundings. Don't be a leaf waiting on the wind. Be the wind. Most people don't live in pain because life is too hard. They live in pain because they keep trying to change what's out of reach while ignoring what's already in their hands. You can't control who loves you, who leaves you, or who talks shit behind your back. You can't control the economy, rising housing costs, or whether your boss suddenly turns on you. Life is full of unfair, chaotic, ruthless things. That's not avoidable, but Stoicism doesn't say you should sit there and take it like a fool. It says, accept what you can't change and go all in on crushing what you can. Acceptance isn't surrender. It means you stop fighting reality so you can channel that energy into an effective response. You can't stop the rain, but you can learn to put on a damn hat and keep walking. Weak men ask, why me? The question of a victim. Strong men ask, what can I do with this? The question of a warrior. You got betrayed? Good. Now you get to decide whether to forgive or cut ties. You failed in business? Good. That lesson might be worth more than 4 years of college. You lost your job? Good. That hit might be the wake-up punch that forces you to reevaluate your path. But if all you do is resist, sit there pissed off, and blame everything and everyone, you'll lose both the lesson and the chance to level up. Epictetus, a man who started life as a slave and became one of the greatest philosophers in history, lived his entire life with a crippled leg, but he never used it as an excuse. In fact, he taught, the wise man is not upset by what he doesn't have. He focuses on building what he does have. That's real strength, not the fake I'm strong you post online while spiraling the moment shit goes sideways. That's noise. That's costume courage. You want to take control of your life? Start by stopping the effort to control what you can't. Letting go isn't weakness, it's power. When you drop the delusional expectations, you finally make room to act with clarity. And once you see what's yours to do, there's no negotiating with yourself. You crush it. Work out, do it. Read, do it. Make the call, do it. Self-discipline isn't about motivation. It's duty. That's how you reclaim ownership of your life from the invisible hands that mess with you every damn day. No one's coming to rescue you, and there's no miracle waiting for you if you just sit still and hope for the best. The world isn't a place you pray into peace. It's a battleground, and Stoicism is the weapon you carry every time you walk out the door. Accept what's untouchable, destroy what's yours to control. That's how a man lives with dignity. Stop wasting another day living in weakness and chaos. Subscribe to Stoic Success now to build an unbreakable mindset, master your emotions, and face life like a warrior. Modern people are afraid of pain. That's a fact. Not just physical pain, but emotional pain. Rejection, misunderstanding, failure, isolation. They do everything they can to avoid it. They run to social media for comfort. They drown themselves in movies, games, sex, food, alcohol, anything that helps them avoid that awful feeling of not being okay. But here's a truth only the strong can admit. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is a signal, a wake-up call, a fuel source for change. Without pain, you'd never know it's time to evolve. Look at the history of the greats. Epictetus was a slave. His master broke his leg, but he didn't use that pain to fish for pity. He turned it into a foundation for an entire philosophy that no one can hurt you unless you let them. That's not a nice quote for a coffee mug. That's a truth born from raw, lived suffering. You've got wounds too. Maybe you've been betrayed. Maybe your childhood was filled with yelling and punishment. Maybe you were mocked, dismissed, crushed. So what's your move? Use that pain to keep playing the victim, or turn it into rocket fuel and become someone even you have to respect. The Stoic doesn't run from pain, he walks straight through it, because he knows if you avoid pain today, you'll face something worse tomorrow. Regret. And regret is the kind of pain that doesn't heal. The problem is, you've been lied to from the start. Society tells you, just be happy, do what makes you comfortable. But comfort doesn't make you strong, it makes you soft. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you're silently telling the world, I can't handle pressure. And the world will treat you exactly like that. If you're hurting, don't rush to numb it. Sit with it. Stare it down. Ask it, what are you here to teach me? Maybe it's that you lack discipline. Maybe it's that you're living a lie. Maybe it's that you always procrastinate. Pain is the lesson life throws at you when you've ignored every gentle signal it gave before. Transmuting pain doesn't mean waiting for it to pass. It means moving through it. Training while tired. Working while uninspired, showing up while your heart is breaking. That's how you build a core that nothing can shake. You want to be truly strong? There's no shortcut. You've got to walk through fire. But that fire won't burn you, it forges you. It burns away the weak, fake, needy parts of you. And when you come out the other side, you'll be pure, unshakable, and untouchable, even by pain itself. How much time do you think you have left? You think you've got a few more years to sleepwalk through life, to put things off until you're ready? Let me be blunt. You're being lied to, not by anyone else, but by your own mind. The part of your mind that just wants comfort, safety, indulgence. But this world wasn't built for your comfort. It's a battlefield, and you're living like a spectator. Stoicism isn't for the soft-hearted. It's the philosophy of warriors. A Stoic wakes up each day knowing today is a fight, not with the world, but with himself. With laziness, with procrastination, with mediocrity lurking in every corner of his thoughts. He gets out of bed not to wait for inspiration, but to kill off the weaker parts of himself, to protect his inner freedom, which only disciplined action can create. You don't need to conquer the world, you just need to conquer yourself. But that's the hardest fight of all. Getting up on time when no one's watching, working when there's no boss breathing down your neck, reading instead of scrolling, training while your friends are drinking. These small acts won't win applause from society, but stack them up and you become unbreakable. Not because you're lucky, but because you chose to live by discipline, not emotion. Most modern men live like they're immortal. They delay change, delay responsibility, delay manhood. They live on excuses. On phrases like, I wish, when the time is right, I don't have time. But the truth is, every day you don't live like a warrior is a day you're dying like a coward. Stoicism teaches you to prepare for the worst and still do what's right. You don't wait for the world to be easier. You get stronger. Every day, you work like it's your last. Not because you're scared of dying, but because you respect being alive. And when you truly respect life, you don't waste a second on weakness. Ask yourself, seriously, are you living like a warrior or hiding like a coward? Are you stepping onto the battlefield or clinging to the illusion of safety? If that question stings, good, means you've still got a shot at changing. From this point forward, treat every day like a test. Who's testing you? You. And what's the reward? Self-respect. Nothing in this life is more valuable than being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm living right. Every day is a battle, and if you don't fight, you lose. No one else. Just you. If you only act when you feel like it, then you've already been dead for a long time. Maybe not physically, but your willpower, your potential, and your self-respect have been buried, killed off by your addiction to emotion. You are not your emotions, but you've been living as if you are. Every time you say, I'm not in the mood, or I don't feel motivated, you're admitting that you're a slave to temporary feelings, to procrastination, to a weak ego that runs from anything uncomfortable. The Stoic doesn't deny emotion, he just doesn't kneel to it. Because he understands one thing: emotions are temporary, consequences are permanent. You might not feel like training, but the belly fat, the back pain, and that dead look in your own eyes will stick around. You might not feel like working today, but your bills won't ask, are you in the mood to pay me? Life doesn't wait for your motivation. It rewards action, nothing else. Acting in spite of emotion isn't numbness. It's the highest form of self-control. You might be tired, you might be bored, you might be heartbroken, but you do what needs to be done. Not because you want to, but because you know it's right. That's the difference between a boy and a man. One gets dragged around by emotion. The other drives himself. There will be days when everything feels empty, when nothing seems to matter. That's when you'll want to give in, to hide, to shut down, to lie there and tell yourself, tomorrow will be different. But the truth is, tomorrow will be just like today, unless you make it different, starting now. And that loop will choke the life out of you until you either wake up or lose the ability to save yourself. The Stoic has one unshakable rule: do the work like it's your duty, not for the reward. You don't train to feel good, you train to get strong. You don't work for praise, you work because it's your damn job. And when you act consistently without depending on how you feel, you don't just get results, you build identity. The identity of a man who cannot be shaken. So you want to change your life? Forget about your feelings. Act first. The emotions will follow. Strange thing is, the more you do, the more motivated you feel. The more you delay, the more drained you get. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. You want purpose? Start working. You want confidence? Do something worth being proud of. You want happiness? Finish the hard thing. No one remembers the guy who thought big but never moved. No one respects the one who talks a lot but never delivers. And you won't respect yourself if every day you let your emotions pull your strings like a puppet. Rising above emotion isn't a one-time fix. It's a daily war. But that's exactly why it's worth it. Because every time you win, you're not just making progress, you're taking back control of your life. Sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? Discipline, the thing that forces you to wake up early, say no to pleasure, push through pressure, is supposed to be freedom? But let me be clear. Real freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Real freedom is doing what you know is right, even when you don't want to. No one tells you this when you're young. They tell you to follow your passion, be yourself, enjoy life. But no one warns you. If you don't set discipline for yourself, the world will set rules for you, and it won't be kind about it. When you don't control your habits, you become a slave to them. When you don't control your time, someone else will take it. When you don't control your thoughts and actions, you get yanked around by everything. The news, social media, your ex, compliments, insults, distractions. And the worst part? You'll think you're free, when in reality, You're chained to everything you refuse to master. The Stoics understood this. To them, freedom doesn't come from avoiding discipline. It comes from owning it. Because once you build personal discipline, you're no longer easily manipulated by the small stuff. You don't need reminders, motivation, or external pressure. You become the only one in charge of your life, and that's the highest form of freedom there is. Look at any man you truly respect, and you'll see one common trait. He has discipline. In business, in fitness, in his mind, in his family, he doesn't live based on moods, he lives by structure. He has limits, systems, and he sticks to them. Not for anyone else, but because he made a promise to himself. You might see discipline as a prison, but the truth is, lack of discipline is the real chain. If you don't control your eating, you become a slave to a weak body. Don't control your time, you never finish anything. Don't control your emotions, you become reactive, unstable, and untrustworthy. Discipline doesn't rob you of freedom. It lays the foundation for it. Discipline doesn't have to be flashy. It's built on small, consistent decisions. Wake up on time, train even when tired, speak the truth even when afraid, work even when the results aren't showing yet. Those little choices done over and over again build you, not dreams, not motivation, just habits, forged in the fire of self-discipline. If you don't control yourself, who will? If you don't put structure into your life, chaos will claim it. And the world has no mercy for men who live without order. No one's coming to save you. Either you build discipline for your life, or someone else will run it for you. Freedom doesn't come from breaking every chain. It comes from choosing the right chains and going all in. Discipline is one of those. And if you stick with it long enough, you'll realize there's no feeling more liberating than knowing you can trust yourself. You will die, maybe in 50 years, maybe next week, maybe today. No one knows, but one thing is certain, no one escapes it. The problem is, you live like you've got 100 years to waste. You delay the important decisions, you live half-assed. You let day after day slip by in boredom, confusion, and the lie you keep telling yourself, one day I'll change. No, there is no one day. There is only now. Stoic philosophy doesn't run from death, it embraces it. They carry it in their minds every single day. Memento Mori, remember you will die, isn't about living in fear. It's about living with weight. Every action, every word, every decision must answer one question. If today were my last day, would this be worthy of it? You can keep living the way you are, putting things off, making excuses, doing just enough to avoid criticism, but never enough to evolve. But one day, when you're in a hospital bed, or face a near-death moment, you'll realize everything you feared was pointless, and everything you delayed, it's gone. Forever. To the Stoic, death is a companion, a reminder. Don't waste time on stupid arguments. Don't let anger poison your mind. Don't live like you've got a second shot, because you don't. You think you're young, that there's plenty of time, but how many years have you already wasted? How many goals have you still not started? How many honest words have you been too afraid to say? How many chances have you let slip because you thought, now's not the time? This is the time. You could die at any moment, but instead of panicking, let that truth set you free. Free from fear of failure, free from your fragile ego, free from living to please other people, because in the end, you leave this world alone. And you'll have to answer one question before death. Did I live real? You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to live authentically. Live with purpose. Live with responsibility. Live with gratitude for every remaining second. And never, never let fear drive the wheel of your life again. You don't need to live forever, but you do need to live so deeply with such truth that nothing can erase the mark you leave behind. Not a mark on the world, but on yourself. You could die tonight, so live in a way that lets you look death in the eye and say, I'm ready. You can keep living the same way, delaying, justifying, hoping for some miracle to show up, but no one's coming to save you. There's no God dropping down from the sky to hand you strength. There is only one person who can do that. You. These 7 Stoic principles aren't some philosophy to admire. They're a way of life, for those with the courage to face reality, the guts to reject comfort, and the discipline to live up to their true potential. You can be weak, but you are not allowed to live in weakness. You can make mistakes, but you're not allowed to run from responsibility. Life doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to stand up and fight. Start. Act. Right now. Not for anyone else, but because you deserve to live like someone you can finally respect. Thank you for being here. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video. Don't forget to leave a comment so we can spread positivity together.